Hello everyone, and thank you for taking the time out to watch my video. This is the first in a series of videos that's going to detail my strongman competitions over the years up till now. Like many people that have grown up in the UK, I've grown up with watching World's Strongest Man at Christmas times. Over the Christmas period they always have World's Strongest Man, and I've watched it for years, and it's only a couple of years back I actually realised that you can still take part in these competitions at a lower level. The first one that came up I noticed was my works one. There was a British Strongest police officer. I started training for that, but the problem was I ended up injuring myself and had to take some time out to recover from that. So this first video is covering the ins and outs of my first competition back in 2020. So after the recovery, after waiting for COVID and everything being closed down, and going through strongman competitions on a lower level, because everyone watches the World's Strongest Man and sees that, but this is the grassroots of it, the car park, the football club competitions, and it just details how I've done in it, and hopefully people will be interested to watch what happens in my competitions and for future competitions that I'll put on here as well. This was my first competition back in September 2020. So for those of you that don't know, most strongman competitions come with 5 events. The first one is a Viking press, is 100 kilograms. You had to make sure that the little parts either side come down below your ears. So this was as many reps as possible in a time limit. On this one I got 14 reps. One of them was disallowed because I didn't go low enough, but I thought that was pretty reasonable. 100 kilograms made it a little bit easier because it's on a bit of a pivot, but I think I came 5th in this event out of 22 people, which was quite a reasonable score. So this is the second event, which is the shield carry. It's a 100 kilogram shield over a 20 metre period, so 10 metres there, 10 metres back. Now this was quite awkward because I'd done some practicing with the shield previously, but this was quite a lot bulkier, so I couldn't see where I was going. I had to go around a barrel, but I knocked it over. So I carried on, got to the end, which I was happy with. The speed and the movement, but what I didn't know was that I had to go back. I was hanging around afterwards. I had to go back, pick back up the barrel that I'd knocked over, which gave me a bit of a time penalty. It happened with someone else as well, but it's not. It wasn't a massive issue. So the next event was the deadlift. This was quite a different one because it's a silver dollar deadlift style where it's got the weights either side of it, so it's a little bit lower down than your normal deadlift. But 200 kilograms, there's a lot for some people, but in this sort of field it's not much. But then considering normally on silver dollar deadlifts, as you lift it up, the bar bends quite a lot, which helps with the lifting of it. But this one was completely stiff, so I think the previous day some of the other categories were struggling with the higher weight. As you'll see when I lift it up, the bar doesn't bend at all. It's more of like an axle bar. It's a thicker bar, so there's no give to it or pull to it at all. But I've got 7 reps, which I was quite happy with that. I think I came 7th in this one out of 22 people, which again I was pretty happy with. I think the second event knocked me back, so I came 12th in that one because of the barrel incident. But I think I was doing pretty well considering it's my first competition. I think as I went down one of these times, that proper smacked the axle bar on my shin, gave me a nice bruise a couple of days afterwards. And event 3 was the duck walk, which I've never done before. It's a strange implement you wouldn't find in any gyms. It's more of a strongman thing. This was 140 kilograms. Again, 10 metres there, 10 metres back. and a lot of people were struggling with this. As 140 kilos lifted between your legs, and it's called a duck walk because you have to walk with the weight between your legs. You're walking like a duck. And what I found out from this is I should have held it a little bit higher, more around the hips, because it was digging into my thighs. So I had some rather large bruises on the inside of my thighs for the next few days, which they weren't just small bruises, it was covering the majority of my inside thighs. So it was a hell of a picture. But then towards the end it was just a couple of lifting it up to dump it forward a little bit just to get that extra bit of length. It's measured from the line. So I came 7th, I came 13th in this one. Again, quite reasonable mid-board. Never done it before, so I was pretty happy what I did, and was able to get the whole 10 metres initially without dropping it, which is quite a lot because it's just pure grip strength. No straps are allowed in this one. And then the last event was the loading medley. This was 80, 90 and 100 kilogram barrels. You had to pick it up the barrel, run to one end with it, drop it, run back, get the other one, and so on. So my strategy for this was to start with the heaviest one while I'm fresher, get the 100 kilograms up there, and then as the event goes on, I'll get more and more tired. So if I finish with the lighter one, then that will make my life easier. So that's why I'm going a bit slow to begin with, because I'm doing the 100 kilogram front one first to get that one out of the way with. But then they put them back in the wrong order, so instead of putting them in order of 80, 90, 100, they put them in 100, 80, 90. So at this point I was feeling quite confident. I was really happy with that, because how quickly I went with this one I thought was the 90. So there was me jogging back thinking I'd pick up the easy 80 kilogram one, and as I pick it up you see me have a little stumble with it, because I was expecting to be a lot lighter than it was. This was actually the 90 kilogram one. So there was me hoping to do it in order, but that's part of my problem. I should have checked the equipment first, but I came 12th in this one, which again mid-board was happy with. So overall in this competition I came 12th out of 22 people, which is quite a reasonable score for my first ever competition.